Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of HealingStars.com. This is the chart for the new moon, 7th of December at 7:20 a.m. in London. I am using, however, whole signs as the houses. And here we celebrate the first new moon with Jupiter in Sagittarius. So the moon and sun are side by side, as they always will be at a new moon, just in the middle of Sagittarius, 15 degrees and 7 minutes. What is very striking about this particular new moon is the tension. The red line is tension, a square of the new moon to Mars and Neptune, which are, if you look at that, exactly the same degree, 13 degrees they are. Now, normally I would be very enthusiastic about Sagittarius, new moon, fantastic, it's optimistic, it's hopeful, it's the future. It's the archer, so our vision, looking upwards, what inspires us to go ahead for the future. The big however is Mars and Neptune are very undermining. There's a real sense of loss, maybe grief. You might be feeling very overwhelmed by your emotions during this week as Mars has approached Neptune. Neptune is the sea, the unconscious ocean. The ocean of tears, you might call it. It's oneness. It's our return back to that place where we've all come from, I believe, is oneness. You can see also, looking at, there's a very good grand trine, a flow of energy, and that's that blue triangle of Chiron, the archetype of the wounded healer, and Mercury. Now, Mercury has been retrograde for, it feels like forever, but it's actually only just 3 weeks, is now moving forward. It actually changed direction on the 6th of December, and that is at 21:22 GMT. So this particular astrology program shows it as S, stationary. So there it is, right at the end of Scorpio, making that positive energy to the wounded healer, also in Pisces, along with Mars and Neptune. Mercury will, of course, move it's moving forward. It will go into Sagittarius and then join Jupiter, and that is also a big event. The other major event that's occurred during the week is Venus. Venus is now in Scorpio. It's been retrograde, it went back into Libra, but now it's going forward in Scorpio. It's moved past an opposition to Uranus. When the moon and Venus joined, that was Monday, in the UK we had Michelle Obama giving an amazing evening at the Royal Festival Hall in London. It was absolutely packed, apparently, and she talked about the imposter syndrome. Now that to me is very relevant for many of us, feeling that we aren't good enough, who am I? It's a constant nagging, and it's very much the ego which wants to hold us back, all of us, men and women both, children, whoever. And it's about sharing our gifts. In astrology, Saturn happens to be, in Vedic astrology, very much to do with being of service to others. It is connected to the new moon, but just about. It's creating what they call a semi-sextile to Jupiter. So it really doesn't seem to be part of this picture. However, Saturn in Capricorn is asking us all to grow up, to be mature, to be responsible, to be responsive, to take that leadership role. And often it's not an easy role, because people will bound to attack us once we step into leadership. But no, any attack is really self-attack. The gift of Mars and Neptune is, I believe, that of the spiritual warrior. So if your birthday is around this time, and Mars, is gradually going to move away from Neptune, but it takes a good week to do that, know that this is your theme for the year. And Mars and Neptune is that knight, that person who has dedicated themselves to the higher good, to be of service to mankind. to other people that you never met, but it's very charitable there. What else to say? Well, the nodes have changed sign now. The nodes of the moon, eclipses. We'll get our first one in January, but they are now, the North Node is now in Cancer, the South Node in Capricorn. That deals very much with family. Cancer is the moon, Capricorn is Saturn, is father energy. So here we have, interesting enough, as we're approaching obviously the Christmas season, the holiday season, family issues may be on the cards for you. And in our families, I believe we chose the family that we were born into. However, that can not necessarily mean happy family. I coach people very much using the principles of psychology of vision, which is based on A Course in Miracles. And the Course says very much there's love or there's fear. So at this particular time of year, I believe it's important for us to move beyond the negative of Sagittarius. Every sign has a shadow. The negative of Sagittarius is righteousness, being right, and also with Jupiter there, feeling godlike. And it doesn't work, of course, that's an act of hubris. But that positive quality is, I believe, also what we need to embrace at this time. The full moon in December is virtually just about the same time as the winter solstice. Very, very powerful and very potent. So keep tuned. Sign up for my newsletter to get the first news of this event. And that's at healingstars.com. Thank you for watching. I'm Pam Carruthers.